This is UltraBlueENERGY coming at you. Look alive, people. Sound the alarms. Incredibly powerful individuals are holding us hostage with weapons of absolute catastrophe. If these doomsday weapons were ever unleashed, our world as we know it will be destroyed. The ultimate end of humanity's story. But have no fear, people. With this information, you can James Bond your way into saving the day. Let's put a nail in Dr. Evil's plan. Let's get this thing going. Now, as fun as I want to make this video, it is somewhat serious. Cause many of you know that there are ever-looming doomsday devices laying dormant. Everybody knows what happened in 1945, when 2 Japanese cities were bombed by Little Boy and Fat Man. 2 powerful atomic bombs with 15 kilotons of TNT. Weapons so strong during the time that it caused concern that Japan would become a barren wasteland. So in turn, the Japanese would surrender 27 days later. America and its allies may have won the war, but the atomic bomb has opened a whole new can of worms that was better off closed. Later years would see the birth of thermonuclear weapons, bombs that would surpass the blast power of atomic weapons by thousands. Further down the line, the world's strongest nations would have a Cold War that would bump the supply of nukes significantly. There is no telling how many nations have how many nukes, only going by what data tells us. The usual nuclear weapon carries the power of 15 megatons of TNT, ranging on 100 megatons if you consider the Tsar Bomba, which is enough firepower to vaporize the state of Delaware. An insane amount of power. Since then, they found ways to use these super bombs by form of travel, in the form of ICBMs and hypersonic missiles. Not to mention that so many nukes were made that many of them ended up being lost and never found again. Sleep well knowing that fact. So that's basically nukes, the primary go-to when people think of doomsday weapons. Knowing the foolishness of the human race, that hasn't stopped us from creating new ways to kill us. The next doomsday weapon is straight out of Star Wars, a satellite equipped with a powerful laser cannon, capable of wiping out cities just like a nuke would. Death rays. You've seen a weapon like this a lot in fiction. Usually it goes like, our government or the bad guy would prepare one of their satellites to shoot a massive laser. It would take several minutes to an hour before the laser is fully charged, in which it would fire upon the surface, causing mass devastation. Death from above. You would think a weapon like this wouldn't exist, staying buried deep in the realm of fiction. Well, for starters, space weapons were in fact being built back in the 1980s under the Reagan administration, before being decommissioned later, though those weapons were only for deterring nukes. Secondly, when dealing with sci-fi, out of everything conjured in Hollywood, they are the least impossible. And third, jumping off of that point, nothing is impossible. As a matter of non-fiction, several laser weapons were already made. Battleships and laser jets have their own laser weapons, though they are only at their beta stage. And there's already a space weapon that has not exactly what I'm talking about, but it's getting there. Right now it only has hypersonic missiles. A death ray hasn't quite been made yet, and I would imagine that we would need to harness energies, not mine, don't even think about it, in order to build a powerful doomsday ray. Great news in that regard, but I'm not done talking about ways evil geniuses could destroy our world. In fact, we're just getting started. On the bright side, it's gonna get less possible and realistic as I go on. Moving on from lasers, we're going straight back to bombs, but we're going to dial it up to 11. You just heard me talk about the Tsar Bomba and the sheer amount of power it yields. So much so that you might as well consider it a mega bomb. But yo, let's put antimatter in the equation. Lots of people online talked about antimatter bombs and the overwhelming destructive potential of such weapons. These people might be mad scientists, and I should probably go beat them up. Antimatter was discovered back in 1928 by Paul Dirac, in which antimatter particles gave an opposite charge of a regular charge. Composing a smidgen of this stuff in the bomb and detonating it would surpass anything that we've seen before, and that is including the Tsar Bomba. If a bomb had 25 kilograms of this stuff, it would eat away 1/6 of the world. Ooh wee. Luckily, no one has a stash of antimatter lying around. Not that I know of. If I find out any of these YouTubers have antimatter, I will find them. Moving on to something a bit similar, we have to talk about particle accelerators. A massive hadron collider built for boosting particles at the speed of light. But according to Dr. Evil, these things could also create black holes. Oh goody goody. We have lost our minds. Black holes in general are the most dangerous space objects. A crushing gravitational pull that not even light could escape from. To picture how powerful these dark monsters are, a black hole can be as small as an ant and still have enough mass to destroy the planet. I don't understand why these mad geniuses think they're gods amongst men. First, how are you gonna contain a black hole? Second, if you manage to create a doomsday device with the black hole and release it, how would you assume that there will be a planet left to conquer? A doomsday weapon like this is literally the bad guy committing a harakiri and taking the whole planet with him. It's like what Andros tried to do in Star Fox 64.
If I go down, I'm taking you with me.
Some doomsday weapons shouldn't be doomsday weapons. Let's tone down destroying the world with another type of doomsday weapon. I never said anything so redundant in my life, specifically a bioengineered doomsday weapon. Now the concept of a bioweapon actually broadens the scope quite a bit. A bioengineered weapon can be anything, which is the scariest part about it. It could be a chemical compound that spreads airborne when activated and kill people when exposed to it, like radiation. It could be an enhanced version of the Black Plague, or worse. It could be a mist that kills your brain cells when inhaled through the nose. Or not even kill, just alter brain patterns to do a specific thing. If you watch any zombie movie or played Resident Evil, it can cause an uncurable infection. Or it could morph your body into some abomination from the Doom franchise. A super bioweapon would end the world without having to take away a chunk of the Earth's curvature. An evil genius could get very creative with bioweapons. Then there's a way that humans can end the world without having to be an evil mastermind. And that's a beacon. A beacon that attempts to call aliens. And we already have something like that. NASA has been trying to call aliens ever since the burning question of, are we alone in the universe? I don't feel that lonely. I'ma be real honest with everyone, we're playing a really dangerous game here. It's like what Stephen Hawking said, when we send signals in outer space, we're gambling with our lives. We don't know what's actually out there. If a hostile alien is advanced enough to find us, we are screwed before the invasion even begins. We expecting to meet a Kryptonian but then get a Viltrumite. Don't look at me. The same type of thing could be said about artificial intelligence. We all watched Terminator. Artificial intelligence is a doomsday weapon by itself. We as human beings are organically built to work, to push our bodies to the absolute limit. But AI would surpass us without trying, and see our existence as irrelevant. And if they were to take matters into their own hands, they may start a crusade against organic life. If we build a supercomputer with sentience, let alone the ability to kill, it would only be a matter of time. Now don't get me wrong, robots can be cool, but I can't help but have second thoughts. Now, I'm gonna wrap the video up with this very last one, and it's purely in the fictional territory. At least I think it is. A magnetic pole disruptor. This type of doomsday weapon was rarely done in fiction. The Earth's magnetic field is solely for protecting us from cosmic rays and deadly ions from our sun. If I were in the same room with this hypothetical mustache twirler, he would first talk noise for an extended period of time, and then he would explain how this device works. He would explain that this MPD would travel to the atmosphere and emit shockwaves that deteriorate the magnetic fields or disrupt the stability of the North and South Pole, causing damage to the geosphere like you wouldn't believe. Man, some people are just eager to kill us, aren't they? I know you're a bit freaked out with some of these, but I seriously wouldn't stress. These madmen will never succeed in their dastardly deeds. Word of advice, take it easy. Anyway, I'm gonna go stop some of these evil men before our world is destroyed. You know what to do if you like what you see. This is UltraBlueENERGY, blasting off.